We're talking here how to get that final 10%, that edge over other artists. Why should a curator choose your track over another track? The final 10%, you've got the 90%, you've got the perfect track, you've got a track worthy of being on a Spotify editorial. So why do other artists get on an editorial and get the support of that curator over your track? And we're going to discuss that final 10%, what gives you that edge to get that slot on an editorial playlist. And once you're on a Spotify editorial playlist, actually life gets pretty easy for you, because every time that you upload a new track to Spotify, then the curators are going to support it. They get a notification saying, you've supported this artist before, do you want to consider their new track? Therefore, you're going to start getting millions and millions of streams from Spotify alone. Then your fan base is going to grow, and before you know it, you're playing major festivals and everybody knows your name from Spotify playlists alone. And to get that edge, to get that 10%, you need to show that you are an artist that is worth investing in and you are going places. You're not just a fly-by-night, one-hit wonder. You're going to constantly be releasing and constantly be growing. And that is very much going to be the theme of this video, because that is the core of that 10%. That is what gives you that edge. And this video is based not only on the success of artists we've worked with and how they've gone on to have huge amounts of support from Spotify curators, but also curators that we have spoken to, some of which are even on the podcast. And I'll link videos down below where we've spoken to the curators and you can listen to what they look for in an artist. But today, I'm going to tell you about what you need to be doing now to get that 10% and get on those playlists. And the first thing is the form that everybody knows. It's on Spotify for artists and it becomes available like 2 weeks before your release or as soon as your distributor has uploaded the track. And all you have to do is select some boxes. You know what to do. We've mentioned it many times on this channel. But what I want to talk about today is that box down below. What do you put in that box that is going to convince a curator that your track is worth putting on a playlist above another track? What are they looking for? Is it the quality of the music? Well, I've already said that it's your perfect track versus someone else's perfect track. There's only like 40 to 50 tracks on a Spotify official playlist. So how of the 100,000 uploaded a day is yours the one to be picked? Because there's a lot of good tracks out there. And what it's going to include is you as an artist as a whole. Where are you going as an artist? What have you got going on? That's what you need to have in the form. What have you done and achieved this year, which shows you've got a trajectory of an artist who is going to break? Everyone is going to tell them that their track is great. Everyone's going to tell them what their track is about. You can have a couple of words about what the track is about, but really you've got to stand out. You've got to show that you've got things going on as an artist and you've got support elsewhere. Therefore, that's where press comes into it. So if you've got press clippings, if you've got features, if you've got reviews, then include that, because getting support from other people in the industry is going to help make the curator's decision, because they know that already you're getting exposure and you're getting credibility from the right places. So what proves that you are on the right track to be able to grow? Now, the reason a curator needs this is because they only have a certain number of spots of artists that they can support. Now, if they get a notification where every artist that they've ever supported has just released, they don't want to be concentrating on thousands and thousands of different artists that happen to have one single good track. They want to know that there's an artist that they can support and continue putting on playlists and watching them grow from playlist to playlist to release. Therefore, that's why you need to convince them. And that is why you see the same artists on so many Spotify playlists. It seems like they just like repeat themselves. That is because the curators have decided to support that one artist's career because they believed in their career. There's nothing worse than a curator who has built up a big playlist and then they've filled it with spots of artists who are just one-hit wonders, because they want to be able to show that Spotify is a credible platform. And if you become a fan of an artist, then that artist is going to go somewhere and they're going to continuously release good music. Therefore, it grows their platform, it grows the credibility of the platform, and also you as well grow and their playlists grow. So don't focus too much on the track. If you're going to mention things about the track, you can mention where it's been supported in the press. If you have had any playlists previously, which are official playlists, if you've got any radio play, perhaps you've got any sync deals. And finally, if you've got a good collaboration, say you've got a big artist on the track, or it is written by a big producer who's written hit tracks previously. Therefore, if you're working with that producer again and again, you're likely to have a hit track in the next 3 to 4 songs. If you're struggling to find good opportunities to build your credibility, then see what we've got available on our opportunities feed, which I'll leave the link down below. If you see any opportunities that might help you build credibility as an artist, then it'll be worth signing up and submitting. Because if you can get yourself credibility builders, like being a soundtrack on a Netflix show, or getting a press feature, getting radio play, then that can give you things that you have going on as an artist and give you more credibility to show that you have things going on. So it's worth keeping an eye on what we have as opportunities and sign up if you can see anything that will be a good fit for you. The next point is artwork. What you have to remember is the image and the user experience of the playlist is incredibly important to the curator. They don't want to add a track and everything looks great apart from a random picture artwork, which looks like it should more likely to be on Instagram than it should be on Spotify. So have a look at the Spotify playlist in your genre and see what the other artists that are successful are putting as their artwork. And to be honest, stick with it. Don't try and be too creative with the artwork. You can be creative with your track, you can be creative with your sound, you can be creative with your lyrics, but just stick to what the curator of your genre likes to see and create that vibe, because they don't spend much time on the artwork. They just make sure that it is going to meet what they are looking for that playlist. So if you want to be on Rap Caviar, then have a look on Rap Caviar and see what all of the other artists on Rap Caviar that have been successful are putting as their artwork. I don't often recommend to copy other artists and what they are doing, especially so closely as what I'm saying. But for your artwork, I absolutely do recommend it. Then make sure when you go onto your profile, you've got all your links to your social media, and also everything is filled out and it has a good aesthetic, because Spotify curators like a good aesthetic for an artist. And on that subject of aesthetic, you have to carry that across to your Instagram account. And I hate this. I hate this so much, that an artist's success is based on how well they come across on Instagram, because you've got two types of content on Instagram. You've got your polished look, everything that looks great, that is going to appease the Spotify curators. And then you've got your content which is going to build more fans. So how do you know what to be uploading onto your Spotify profile? But thankfully, Spotify have now separated Reels and your page itself. So for your page itself, I recommend just hiring a photographer for the day and going around with different outfits, taking the best pictures possible and having good captions that is going to get good engagement. As long as you can get that engagement, and as long as at a glance your profile looks good, and don't do that stupid grid thing that people do that years ago. Do a nice feed that has lots of different pictures, very aesthetic, then that is what the curator is going to want to see. They do like to see that you've got followers, but it's a myth that they want to see tens of thousands of followers. They just want to see that you've got followers and they're engaged. Then you can go across to your Reels, and then you can start creating content that the curator will probably not even look at. However, it will go out to the Reels pages of people who are going to be fans of your music, and then you are going to get your followers and fans that way. The next point is to trigger the algorithm. And to be honest, you don't need to trigger the algorithm to get hundreds of thousands of streams for your curator to take you seriously. The algorithm works in strange ways because obviously we're on the Spotify for Artists for our clients and our artists. And we see how the algorithm works. And it's a very strange way. It will push you out to about 10 to 30 people, and you'll get algorithmic play from those guys. And then it will sit there for like a month, and then it will push you out. So getting the algorithm just to trigger will prove to the curator that your track is worth listening to and you have organic streams. Now, to trigger the algorithm, you want to get yourself on playlists that are genre specific. Stick to genre specific. Don't worry about the streams. Don't worry about being on big playlists. You don't need to be on big independent playlists. You just need to trigger that algorithm, get a couple of hundred streams from the right people who are going to be fans of your music. And if you do want to achieve this quickly and speed up the process, then I do recommend using Playlist Hunter. Playlist Hunter literally scans Spotify for all of the contacts available for you to submit to playlists. Now, remember that Playlist Hunter scans in real time to find playlists for your genre or for your keyword. What's going to happen there is it's going to be ordered in followers. And a mistake a lot of artists make is they will go and submit to those biggest playlists. And the problem with those biggest playlists is the chances are they're not very suited for your genre. So I would rather filter them and look for those that have 1,000 to 2,000 followers, and therefore they won't be asking for paid placement. There won't be any danger of running bots through those playlists, and you know that it is organic and it is exact for your genre fit. Once you know it's a genre fit, then you know that you're going to trigger the algorithm to get those 20 to 30 streams from the right places, from the algorithm, and then you will find that in a year's time, I know it's a long time to wait for the algorithm, we're talking about Spotify Editorials here. In a year's time, you could have 100,000 to 200,000 from algorithm alone. Then you'll already, by that point, be supported by Editorials. So simply prove to the algorithm that your track is worthy of being pushed out, and you will get organic streams and Editorials. My next point is probably the most expensive point. It's collab with a big artist. It's the easiest way to get on a Spotify official playlist. It's almost like a hack. So find an artist that you have seen is on Spotify official playlists and collaborate with them. It's a numbers game finding someone who will collaborate with you, and you will have to pay them usually. But if you collaborate with them, then they release, and like I said, the curator will get a notification that this artist that has been on their playlist before has released, and then you're on it as well. So you know how it does that thing on the profile where you can click both artists to go to their profiles? Then you're on that playlist as well. So when you release next, not only have you got Spotify officials on your CV now, the curator has got a notification that one of the artists that they've put on one of their playlists has released again, and it's you. So it's an expensive way of doing it, but wow, it is an effective way of doing it. And the final one makes me cringe. I wish it wasn't the case. And I learned this from us doing campaigns with artists. And this was when we were collaborating with another major label, and they said, we were doing the social media for this artist at the time, and they said, oh, make sure to thank Spotify for adding to this playlist, and this to this playlist, and to this playlist. And I was like, that is stupid, because Spotify is meant to bring the streams and fans to the artist, not the other way around. Why does a curator's ego need to be thanked? And unfortunately, it's true. So if you get on the smallest of playlists, then simply acknowledging that Spotify have added you to this playlist and putting it on your feed or putting it on your reels then shows to Spotify and that curator you are willing to support their platform and therefore builds their brand. So then they've got brand strength, and if you do that, people will go and listen to that playlist. So if they listen to that playlist and you and 50 other artists all say, hey, I've been added to this playlist, and people go, oh, I haven't actually listened to that particular playlist, I'm going to put it on. That gets more streams, and every artist gets more streams because of it. But if you don't show you are contributing to Spotify's growth of their platform, then they're not likely to support you. So it looks a bit cringe on the feed. I don't like it, but I'm here to give you the facts and not just give you the stuff that I like to hear. So that was the final one. There's a reason I put it last, but you need to hear it. So hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you have found it informative. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video.